right, so now that you guys are fabulous at systems and equations,
We're horrible.
you're really quite good at systems and equations. I'm very impressed, at least of what I've seen. But now that you're good at them, we can start to use them, right? We can use them in real life experiences, real life situations. And systems of equations are extremely, I'm gonna wait until you guys are focused, okay? You guys ready? Systems of equations are really, really useful in solving problems, solving real life problems, word problems. Because, think about it, oftentimes in a real life word problem, there are two unknowns. Do you agree with me?
No.
There's an X and a Y, right? There's often two unknowns. And if there's two unknowns, you need to have two equations to solve for them, unless you figure out another way. There might be another way to do it. But if you decide to make your two unknowns X and Y, you're going to have two equations that tell you how does Y relate to X in two different ways so that you can find the place where they come together, that crossing where they're both true. Does that make sense? See what I mean? And so, if I gave you a problem, I'm going to write this out. Let's write it as I'll say it as I write it so that you guys can write it too. Okay, 10 T's, T-E-E-S, right? Like T's like golf balls. 10 T's and 3 used golf balls cost $2.55. 3 T's and 4 used golf balls cost where was I? $3.09. Okay?
What?
How much
You need the dollar sign.
Dollar
does,
sign.
Not the dot, the dollar sign.
oh yeah, sorry. Sorry. Okay, how much does, where am I? How much does each item cost? Each item cost.
It doesn't make sense, Gary.
Well, the truth is, before you understood systems of equations, this wouldn't make sense, right? You'd look at that and you'd think, oh, there's not enough information. There's no
enough
way
information. It's
you
just-
could solve this. That's how I would have seen it,
No,
from my viewpoint, if I didn't understand systems of equations.
There's enough information, it just doesn't make sense because 10 tees and 3 golf balls cost $2.55. Then 3 tees and 4 golf balls cost $3.09.
Well, then 4 golf balls clearly cost more than.
Yeah, my guess is the tees don't cost very
Well,
much.
yeah, but
They're probably free.
take away 7, add 1, and you're like.
Well, yeah, it, like, when you first look at it, doesn't really, like, is that really even possible? Well, sometimes it might not be, but let's try it. I mean, if it wasn't possible, what would we get as an answer?
No solution.
Well, we might get a solution, but what if I said, what if the answer was that you'll get negative 14 T's, right? Or T's cost negative 33 cents, right? That doesn't make sense, right?
You
You
get
can't-
paid 33 cents every time you take a tea. Let's go
Right.
get rich, guys.
Okay, so,
Well, then
Then
you
it wouldn't
get
work.
paid to like.
So then
So-
you get paid to buy the t-shirt.
so I'm hoping the answers are both positive, right? Because then it'll make sense. In real life situations, when you get a negative, sometimes it doesn't make sense, right?
No, it just means that you get paid to have something. Like this airplane costs negative.
Yes, well,
$1
that doesn't
billion.
happen in my math class, believe me.
It's like, okay, I'll take the
Okay.
airplane and my $1 billion.
So, okay, so are you guys focused? So what you do is you, instead of using X and Y, you use letters that relate to what you're dealing with. Okay, I'm gonna use T for T's,
And golf.
and I'm gonna use G for golf balls, right? Okay? So I know
Why can't you use X and Y?
Why do we need to draw?
it's easier, you can use X and Y, but if you used X and Y, you would have to create a legend. You know what a legend is on a map,
It's a key.
right? A key, right? You'd have to say X equals T's, right? And Y equals golf balls.
But I could just put it above,
Right.
like, underlined.
So anyways, you have to identify somewhere what
But
you're doing.
that's not like,
Or you
that's
could just
not a
write
real
it
life
on
problem,
So-
Gary.
But
Gary,
I'm a little lazy, guys. I'm a little lazy, and I don't like doing that extra step. So instead of doing that, I'm just gonna use my variables that I already know, it's really obvious what they stand for. So I'm gonna say, what is my first equation?
10t
Gary,
plus 3g equals 2.55.
Gary.
Okay, cost means equals, right? Now, when you write the amount, most of the time, not always, but most of the time, if it gives you the amount in dollars and cents, most of the time, I would suggest you write it as cents. How would I write
Wait.
$2.55 as cents? 255, you just move the
Why can't
decimal.
you just write 2.55?
Yeah.
Did you hear what I just said?
Yeah.
Okay,
But,
so
like,
just bear with me for a second, because
Makes
my
sense now.
guess is the answer is gonna be in cents, right? Sometimes it's easier to not have the decimals, do you know what I'm saying? Because, you can totally do it with the decimals, but it makes it a harder problem. Because you're dealing with decimals, right? So, what's my second equation?
But then,
Gary?
Gary, then we have to
3t
use
plus
the
4g
I have-
equals 309.
3t plus
Gary, I have a
4g
small inquiry.
equals 309. Now that doesn't seem that seems like really hard, doesn't it? Now, how would I solve this?
elimination.
Elimination,
But
totally.
then you have to multiply
I
like
started
the
writing
top
down.
one by 4 and the bottom one by 3, and then you get the total.
Right, so we're gonna, do I have a calculator here?
Gary,
I just didn't write. I said no.
Gary,
I just don't
Gary.
speak really enough
Yeah.
braces.
Gary.
So calculators are,
Gary, I have a small question.
so much talking, guys.
Gary,
Yes, Manu.
couldn't we just ask the clerk guy how much does each one cost?
He doesn't know because he didn't.
Well, then he shouldn't work there. He's, but when instead of
Are
referring
we
it,
really gonna carry around a piece of paper and say
guys.
that? Oh, okay, the
Guys.
math.
Guys, this is a lecture, right? It's on videotape. So I would agree, it really doesn't matter. I could do this one times, 3 and this one times 10, or negative 10 maybe, or negative 3 and positive 10. Or I could do this times 4 and this times 3. One of them's gotta be negative. Doesn't matter which one. So let's do the 4 and 3 one. So we'll eliminate our G's. So I'm gonna multiply this times 4 and this by negative 3. Does that make sense?
yeah.
I could have made that negative 4 and that positive 3. It doesn't matter. It'll still work.
Easier to do a negative times the lower number.
Yeah, it would be easier to do the negative times the lower number. I agree. Okay, so now I've got to rewrite it over here. So we got 40t plus 12g is equal to,
1,020.
is it really?
Yeah.
1,000,
We have calculators. Are we allowed to use calculators?
Yes.
on the
oh yeah,
homework?
totally use a calculator. It'll
Actually,
be so much easier. And then negative 9t, am I right?
No.
Minus
Oh,
12t,
yeah,
12g is equal to 927 negative, did I do that right?
That's my eyes.
Who's doing this? 309
Wait, I'll do it.
times 3, yeah, 927, negative 927. All right, so now that I've done that multiplying out, I can add my two equations together. My g's cross out, right? And so I just have 31t
Wait, give me that.
is equal to, does anybody forgot what that is?
No.
10, 20, 90, negative 9, equals 93. 93. Divide by 31. Divide by 31 and I get t is equal to what? 3. Now, remember, 3 what? 3 what?
3
When
cents.
when I wrote this, I wrote it all in cents. Do you see that?
It's 3
So it's
cents.
3
So
cents.
that's $0.00.
All right, so I know my T's cost 3 cents a piece, so that makes sense, right?
No.
They
Get it?
probably have a little.
They're
Cents.
positive, yes.
That's
That makes sense.
Same, 100.
Now, how do I find the amount of G? How much G costs, the golf balls? Yes,
You substitute the T where
3 cents. Why don't I turn it into,
You substitute the tea
3,
with coffee.
12.
Yeah.
Make it 12 or 9. I meant 9.
which one should I substitute it into?
The bottom one. Bottom.
Bottom? Oh, that's fine. So 3 times 3 plus 4G equals 309. So 9 plus 4G is equal to 309. Subtract 9. I have 4G. 4 golf balls cost 300 cents. Divide by 4. Let's
Math.
see. G is equal to, did anybody do it?
No,
Gary,
75.
do it yourself.
You might do it for me.
70, is it 75 cents?
75 cents.
All right, so we're
Those
dealing
are
with
cheap
cents.
golf balls.
Yeah, but
So immediately,
I feel like this.
I know that my golf
So
balls
can we
cost
just
75
Have up the
cents.
paper. How
And
hard
my-
was it to have, like G,
Gary,
3 cents, or no, G, 75 cents, and G, 3 cents.
And then, do I trust you guys, 300 divided by 4? Yeah, okay, just want to be sure.
Gary.
Since it's on video. Okay,
And
so
it's
then
easy to
so I
calculate.
say,
These clerks
Um,
are very bad.
so I write it up. The T's
man.
They're faster.
cost
What?
3 cents. The golf balls cost 75 cents. And I put the answer in words in a box.
okay, Gary.
Pretty straightforward. So question first with a hand raised, yes.
Why do you want to cross out the G's?
I didn't have to. You get to choose. The elimination method is you get to choose which one you're gonna do. And I just thought, well, I'd rather multiply, I could multiply this one times 4 and this one times 3-ish. Those are smaller numbers than this times 10, you know what I mean? But to be honest with you, it probably would have been really easy to cross out the T's first. Because 10 times that is just that with a 0 after it. okay?
Gary.
So it would have been fine to do the T's as well. And then you would have 30T and negative 30T,
Gary.
right? Yes,
I feel like they would have it written down somewhere.
yes.
Maybe like this
Ask-
off.
like- like-
Just
There,
ask
there are
Siri.
so many cases when this is useful. When you guys, cell phone services are so complicated in terms of, AT&T versus Verizon versus,
Like, we're better
cellular
than them.
versus, US
We're better
AT&T,
than them.
whatever,
It's like a cartoon.
T-Mobile. They're so
Guys, be quiet.
they're so complicated. They say, you get this many minutes of phone time and you get this many minutes of text time and you get this unlimited, you know what I mean? And you need that, you can use systems of equations to compare those prices,
Then
right?
you want to think of quality, like which are better service. Let's say you're out in the middle of, what do you call it? Australia.
Desert.
Yeah, you're middle of the Alaskan desert.
There
Yeah,
is no last
There
name.
is no last, but exactly.
Yeah.
And
If there is no Alaskan desert, then there's no
There's no
phone.
problem.
It's like, let's imagine you
But
were
the
in middle of
average-
Alaska
There's
desert.
even phone service in Alaska.
But
You wouldn't have to.
But you guys,
be-
if you go to cell phone companies and you actually try to compare policies, you will notice that none of them compare item to item. It's like nothing is exactly the same. And they do that on purpose to confuse you because they don't want you to know how to solve it and figure out which one's the better deal, right? Oh, you get with us, you get, unlimited everything, for $200 a month, right? Or whatever, you know what I mean? It's expensive, and so you just, But systems of equations is the way you would actually determine. You know, I could probably bring in a problem and show you something
Yeah,
like that.
Gary, well, you
At
should
some
go
point.
do some research. You should go to every single,
No thanks.
like every single, not the cell phone store and be like, no, Gary should go to Verizon and AT&T. They're the most
So-
popular.
So let's just review really quickly, because this is the only problem, this is the only problem we're gonna have time to do. So, let's go through it again really quickly. We just wrote the equation, which is quite easy to write. You see it right there. You wrote your two equations. We used the elimination method because they were both in standard form, right? We chose to eliminate the g's. We could have easily chosen to eliminate the t's instead, but we chose to eliminate the g's. We found g was 75 and t was 3 cents, right? 75 cents and 3 cents. We also wrote, if instead of dollars, we wrote it in cents. Now, sometimes you might not write it in cents. You might write it in dollars. There's one example on the homework. I do tend to, I put in print in like italics, you know, I would change this to cents or I would not change, I'd keep it in dollars, right? If it was like there's one thing about, you know, like there's one problem in there that says 3 Pokemon decks and 6 Magic decks cost $60, 3 Pokemon decks and 10 Magic decks cost $80, then I'm suggesting you don't change it into cents, just leave it as dollars, since it's an even dollar amount. Yes.
You just ask the guy.
8 decks of Magic cards would probably be like $230.
I know, Gary.
It's insane.
Oops.
Gary, you're like,
Gary, you have a very cheap card store.
Okay.
Everybody go to Gary's card store.
Okay, Zane. Hey guys, have a seat, Jesse.
These
Zane's
have a
up.
lowercase t and it's really funny.
I like my lowercase d because I can.
No, like in the answer.
Oh yeah, right. I did that. You're right.
Gary.
I agree. I noticed that when I did it, and I didn't want to erase it.
It's like, what are you doing? Is the video still going?
Okay, the video is